It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So,
Hello and welcome. You're watching Firstpost with me, Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right, on the show today, the noise against Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma's poor performances against Australia in the Border-Gavaskar Trophy is getting louder by the day. Now, prominent voices are urging them to get back to domestic cricket. Can the BCCI crack the whip this time? After their stern messaging against some of the younger cricketers in 2024, can they do it now? Australia has cancelled an international ice hockey tournament fearing backlash because of Israeli team participation. The anti-Semitic sentiment in Australia is on the rise, and the matter has involved Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. Is Australia afraid of the chaos an Israeli team arriving on Aussie land will cause? And after the esports challenge, Elon Musk seems to have his eye on a football club. Not just any, this is the biggest one, Liverpool FC. Will Musk buy Liverpool as a gift to someone special? Stay on to know more on that, but first, a look at the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with Cricket UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has called on the ICC to support women's rights in Afghanistan. This comes after extensive demands were made by politicians to boycott England's game against Afghanistan in the Champions Trophy that's scheduled next month. Starmer is the latest big voice to join in on a call to take action against Afghanistan. The Champions Trophy is little over a month away, and reports suggest the venues in Pakistan are far from ready. The stadiums in Karachi, Rawalpindi and Lahore, which will host the majority of the matches, are still getting renovated. The work was expected to finish by December 2024. The tournament is set to kickstart on the 19th of February. Meanwhile, Afghanistan has appointed former Pakistani captain Yunus Khan as their mentor for the ICC Champions Trophy campaign. He joins Jonathan Trott, who's the head coach of the side. Yunus Khan led Pakistan to a maiden T20 World Cup win in 2009. On to football, Newcastle shocked Arsenal in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final with a 2-0 win. Alexander Isak scored the opener in the first half. Anthony Gordon doubled the lead at the start of the second. Newcastle will host Arsenal in the second leg next month in the hopes of securing their Carabao Cup spot in the final. Meanwhile, Brazilian forward Neymar confirmed that 2026 FIFA World Cup will be his last at the international stage. Neymar, who has represented Brazil in 3 World Cups, is currently playing for Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. Due to injuries, Neymar hasn't regularly featured since 2023. And we'll sum it up with news from tennis. Nick Kyrgios's Grand Slam return is in doubt after the Aussie star suffered an abdominal injury before the Australian Open. The 29-year-old withdrew from Djokovic's event A Night with Novak due to this. Kyrgios made his return at the Brisbane International last month after a series of injuries sidelined him from competitive tennis since 2022. The noise around Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma's lack of form is only getting louder, while many in the country, including people who didn't really follow the sport, praised Rohit Sharma for selflessly dropping himself ahead of the last test because he considered his lack of runs a liability to his side. The sense of anxiety, anger, unrest and impatience towards 2 of India's biggest superstars when it comes to their batting and form is only growing. Prominent voices in Indian cricket have delivered their verdict, and it's very loud. Go back to domestic cricket. And we all know the numbers are appalling. I do not need to pull them out here and show them to you and get out a chart to know that Virat and Rohit's scores were very low during the Border-Gavaskar Trophy. Mostly single-digit figures, though Virat did flatter with 100 at Perth, only to deceive in the rest of the series. No other big scores coming off his bat thereon. The Indian head coach Gautam Gambhir dropped more than a hint at the Sydney presser post the match on going back to the roots and working on the game.
I would always like everyone to play domestic cricket, not only one game. If they are available and they have the commitment to play red ball cricket, everyone should play domestic cricket. As simple as it can get. If you don't give importance to domestic cricket, you will never get the desired players that you want.
Some of the strongest voices of criticism belong to World Cup winners and commentators who have been fond of and very close to both Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. Ravi Shastri, the former head coach of the men's Indian cricket team, was more sharp in his criticism, also questioning whether the senior-most players in the side were hungry enough to keep working on their game.
They might have been lucky to get over a couple of series, but you saw how New Zealand exposed them before coming to Australia. If there's a gap for them, I think they should go back and play some domestic cricket and see how it is. And plus, it's the hunger and desire. When you are in your 30s, one is 36, the other is 38. They would know how hungry they are.
Rohit Sharma proclaimed while speaking to the broadcaster on day 2 in Sydney that he isn't going anywhere. He's here to stay. But if that bat needs to start talking, then he needs match time and practice. And that cannot happen in international cricket. That cannot be the practice ground. That's where the results need to show. Rohit Sharma has not featured in a Ranji Trophy match for 9 long years. Virat Kohli last played Ranji Trophy way back in 2012. Want to know when was the last time Sachin Tendulkar played a Ranji game? It was in 2013 in Lali. I still remember the crowds rushing in to catch the master. It was a rare sight in Haryana. And guess what? That was the year he retired. He played domestic cricket even till the year he called it quits. The Indian Cricket Board, just last year, had sent out a strong warning to certain Indian players. This was after a string of poor performances in bilateral series outside India. You know whom I'm referring to. Shreyas Iyer, who was dropped from central contract after a horrid run with the Indian squad, was pushed out and told to go play some domestic cricket. He, of course, responded by winning the Indian Premier League as captain of the Kolkata franchise. The same treatment was dealt to star wicketkeeper of the Mumbai franchise and someone who was in the Indian setup for a while, Ishan Kishan. The BCCI was stern with their messaging and it showed. Unless you're devoted to the sport and to bettering your game, you have no place in the national side, is what the BCCI said. When you're free of national commitment, you simply have to turn up for your domestic side, your state side. That's what their messaging was. Shreyas Iyer, Hardik Pandya, they've been busy in the last few months in domestic cricket. Nitish Reddy, fresh off the Australia series, is set to play the last phase of the Ranji Trophy for his state side. He realizes even that 100 that he scored, that magical 100 in Melbourne, isn't enough. He needs to do more, work harder, score more. That'll make him more dependable in the Indian lineup. Should that thought not apply across all cricketers, young and old, especially if you so desperately want to be there at your best, up against the best in the world? Some youngsters like Shubman Gill, KL Rahul have not played domestic cricket over the last 4 years. Maybe the best way they can truly gravitate towards this principle of going back to the drawing board each time should come from the seniors. If players like Ajinkya Rahane and Cheteshwar Pujara, veterans of the sport, are still hungry and continue to play domestic red ball cricket even today, months after being left out of the international cricket setup, what's stopping the rest? The war in West Asia is refusing to die down. Following the Hamas and Israel battle, the region is now on the brink of an all-out war. The civilian casualties have always kept coming in, but sports has been a casualty too. Sporting structures are crumbling, leagues getting affected. And Israel has been targeted in this regard. Anti-Israeli sentiments are echoing across the globe. The effects of it now being seen in Australia. The country has cancelled an international ice hockey qualifying tournament for a men's world championship. The tournament, which was set to be organized in Melbourne, was called off, and that's just 3 months, with 3 months just left for it to take place. And the reason has been security concerns. And while Australia's Ice Hockey Federation, or the IHA, didn't mention Israel in their statement, local media reported that the cancellation came due to Israel's participation. The claims come over a leaked email sent by IHA to the International Ice Hockey Federation, where the IHA has refused to host the event because they are wary the situation could lead to chaos with Israel coming in. So why the security concern? It stems from a series of anti-Semitic attacks that Australia has witnessed in the recent months. The country has seen anti-Israeli slogans being chanted everywhere. The Israeli communities are getting targeted repeatedly, properties being vandalized, and this is not the first time a section of residents in Australia have been subjected to hostility. Between 2007 and 2008, more than 1,000 Indians had been victims of crimes, including assaults and robberies, and that only turned worse in the following years. Multiple deaths were reported in what was believed to be racist attacks. Now, the Israelis seem to be the targets, and it has only worsened in the last 1 month alone. Earlier this week, in Sydney, a car was ruined by graffiti. It was a colourful message on a Jewish citizen's car. Vandals sprayed anti-Israel and anti-Semitic graffiti on an electric bike to target the local Jewish community. The Jewish community seem to have expressed their displeasure over these hate crimes because the matter has gone up to the Prime Minister Albanese, who of course has condoned these acts, saying it's against Australian values.
Anti-Semitism is a scourge, and any event such as this targeting people because of who they are is not the Australian values that I hold dear and the Australian values that are held dear.
And while it was nice of Albanese to address the elephant in the room, what the Iyer did was the complete opposite. Now, I understand the situation in Australia is developing and it is a cause for concern. And that, of course, led to many doubts over whether Australia would be able to host the tournament without any mishaps. But if the reports are true, then cancelling the event just because of Israel's participation clearly puts Australia in bad light. On one end, you have the Prime Minister calling the anti-Semitic attacks against Australia's values. And on the other, the Ice Hockey Federation is trying to corner Israel by calling off the tournament completely, which puts Israeli players under the spotlight once again. Just last month, the World Bowl Tour, or the WBT, initially banned Israeli players from competing in the World Indoor Bowls Championship in England. The WBT defended their case by stating it was taken to avoid any chaos. The ban was later revoked after the call was widely condemned by Jewish groups and a local MP. Now, I understand the organizers are scared given the growing anger that's simmering against Israel across the globe. Last year, football fans of an Israeli club, Maccabi Tel Aviv, were attacked in Amsterdam. This after their Europa League match against Dutch club Ajax, which resulted in a riot between Israeli fans and the attackers. The situation, of course, escalated, so much so that the Israeli government urged their fans to stay indoors. They even made measures to bring the fans back home safely. So yes, tension is always riding high whenever Israeli teams or athletes are involved. Australia is trying its best not to create situations that could lead to such things happening and matters going out of hand, like it did in Amsterdam. And what it's done is alienate Israel from the sporting world one tournament at a time. The reason Australia decided to can the event has a lot to do with their lack of faith in their country and its system to be able to handle an Israeli team traveling and playing in Melbourne. The anti-Israel sentiments are riding high and they feel any involvement by Israeli teams will only go south. Is that how Prime Minister Albanese, though, would like the world to imply from Australia's decision? Liverpool Football Club is currently having a fairy tale season. Top of the Premier League, top of the Champions League, everything seems to be going according to plan on the field, yes. So a cherry on the cake would be a major investment deal that can solve their problems off the field. Liverpool might just have that too. The world's richest man seems to be interested in buying the historic club. Elon Musk's father claims that the billionaire businessman would like to buy the Premier League giants. No, it's not just Musk's constant pursuit of entering every business venture he wishes to. The reason here is quite an emotional one that might just favor both the English club and Musk, making it a Musk revival for the falling Anfield. A report.
One of Liverpool's most successful managers, Jurgen Klopp's exit last season raised doubts over whether the club would be able to tide this over. But it feels like Klopp left Anfield handing them a genie, and the wishes don't seem to be restricted to just 3. The club is going through a dream run under the new manager Arne Slot. A Premier League trophy and a Champions League double seem to be on the cards. And that's not it. Billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk has now shown keen interest in buying Liverpool. Musk's father, Elon Musk, when asked if his son had an eye on Anfield, said this.
"Oh yes, he would like to, yes, obviously. Anybody would want to, so would I. But I can't comment on that. They'll raise the price."
Jokes apart, even if Liverpool owners raise the price, it's unlikely that will really trouble Elon Musk too much. If Musk is interested in something, he's likely to get his way. And last year, Liverpool was ranked as the 4th most valuable football club in the world, an estimated value of $5.37 billion. Elon Musk's total net worth is believed to be around $464 billion. So if Musk wants it, he's likely to have it any which way. But let's just say the Liverpool deal does go through. It won't just be because of Musk's aggressive business interest or his billionaire status. In the rarest of occasions, an emotional angle might hold the key.
His grandmother was born in Liverpool, and we have relatives in Liverpool, and we were fortunate to know quite a lot of the Beatles because they grew up with some of my family. So, we are attached to Liverpool, you know.
If the Musk family does know the Beatles and have connections with them, isn't that good enough reason for Musk to become the owner of the club? Because Liverpool is known for 2 things, the Beatles and Liverpool FC. Not disregarding Everton here, their rivalry with Liverpool is famous too. The main part being Liverpool. And the interest from the Musk family couldn't have come at a better time for Liverpool. Liverpool might be setting the football field on fire, but their off-field chaos does need a saviour, a knight in tech armour. The current owners, Fenway Sports Group or the FSG, who've owned the club since 2010, have regularly faced criticism for their lack of investment in the squad. In a period where their rivals Manchester City, Arsenal, Chelsea and Manchester United have spent millions on their squad, Liverpool have hardly spent on signing up big money players. And currently, the club fans are upset over Liverpool's failure to extend the contracts of their star players Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold. A failure that might result in the 3 marquee players leaving the club. It isn't just that aspect that is worrisome, the iconic Anfield is crumbling too. During the Manchester United vs Liverpool match, the roof of Anfield was leaking, leading to United fans mocking Anfield with chants of "Anfield is falling." So if a fan base like United, who themselves are struggling to hold Old Trafford in one piece, can mock Liverpool, then the club definitely needs proper investment in infrastructure. The only roadblock, though, can be FSG's reluctance to sell the club. Because for close to 2 years now, the current owners have quashed speculations of selling.
Will we be in England forever? No. Are we selling LFC? Have we sold anything in the past 20 plus years?
But if Musk is really keen on buying Liverpool, how can the FSG owners really stop that? Because a deal from Musk might be more lucrative than they can imagine and be just the solution they need, and can turn out to be a blessing for Liverpool supporters too. The current genie is helping them succeed on the field, and if Musk takes over Liverpool, they might not need a genie at all. A Musk revival is likely to make them the greatest and richest club in football.
Time for last serve. Now, who will win a badminton match between artificial intelligence and an Olympic athlete? Watch this face-off at a tech event in Las Vegas to know the answer. That wraps it up here on First Sports. I'll join you again tomorrow. Till then, do take care. Bye-bye.